Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Firstly, I would like to acknowledge the member for Warrandyte on this matter of public importance, noting that the youth crime crisis across Victoria highlights the need for stronger laws, better policy and greater investment to make communities safe again, and calling on the government to ensure real consequences for offenders, acknowledge their failures so we can actually get solutions, and invest in proper prevention, rehabilitation and early intervention. Now, I want to open, Deputy Speaker, with a story. Picture this: a quiet suburban evening in Cobblebank in Melbourne's west. Two boys, one just 12 and the other 15, walking home from a local basketball game. Out of nowhere, they're ambushed by a group of up to 8 masked youths wielding machetes and long knives. In moments, the unthinkable happens. The boys are chased down and brutally hacked to death in the street. This is not the script of a horror film. It happened here in Victoria last month. A senior detective described it as one of the most horrific crimes in a substantial and growing list of crimes of this nature. The children who were murdered weren't gang members, just innocent kids in the wrong place. Now 2 families, friends and a community are shattered. As the father of one victim lamented, their community had buried 4 children in the past month from similar violence. This is not an isolated incident. Earlier this year, midday shoppers at Northland Shopping Centre in Melbourne experienced a nightmare of their own. A brawl broke out between rival youth gangs in the food court, some armed with knives and a machete. Panic spread as hundreds of people ran for the exits in fear. One man in his 20s was slashed and taken to hospital with serious injuries. 3 others were treated for anxiety attacks amid the chaos. Imagine being with your children at the local mall and suddenly seeing a gang member wave a machete, everyone screaming and fleeing for safety. These are scenes we never thought would see in our community, yet they are happening right here again and again in Victoria. And Victorians, Deputy Speaker, are feeling it. Parents are afraid. Young people are afraid. Elderly residents fear break-ins. Small businesses face brazen robberies. Our community is on edge, and with good reason. Now, these stories are not just media hype. The hard data backs up what we all sense and know, that youth crime in Victoria has exploded in recent years. Crimes committed by children aged 10 to 17 have risen to their highest levels in 15 years. According to stats from February, in 12 months, the number of recorded youth offender incidents jumped by 17%, reaching around 23,800 incidents, a huge spike compared with a few years ago. Youth crime is now at a decade high. And Victoria Police leadership is also fed up. Frontline officers are frustrated seeing the same young criminals re-offending with impunity. It's telling that Victoria has just notched up its highest number of total arrests on record. Police made 75,900 arrests in the year to March 2025. That's 208 arrests every day on average. And yet, with the community reeling from this crime wave, the government's first instinct was to downplay or deny the problem. The Attorney-General at the time, in 2023, declared, "I do not want a discussion about a youth crime crisis that doesn't exist," before saying that youth crime was just about perception. The government seems more concerned about managing optics than confronting reality. We do need action, therefore, on this space. We need proactive solutions. Managing crime, as with manners, behaviour, civility and everything else, is really, Deputy Speaker, just like parenting. With parenting, you need both a carrot and a stick. You need to give your kids positive things to do and a purpose and direction, whether that is in sport, community, crafts, schooling, education or other things. You also need with your kids consequences and discipline for bad behaviour, both to stop and prevent such behaviour. Yet we've had insufficient consequences here in Victoria, and we've had a lack of crime prevention investment. What we therefore need is actual consequences for offenders. That doesn't necessarily need to mean jail, but there need to be consequences. Talking to local CFA commanders, they mentioned in the past that youth were required to go and volunteer at their local CFA, which meant that they had a consequence, but they also developed positive relationships and positive thrills. Or they might go up and clean graffiti for 80 hours, or do many other things that are actual consequences. We also need investment in prevention, like with the Icelandic prevention model, which I've proposed in the past, which I'll mention soon. Now, on consequences more generally, the first is with respect to bail. In Victoria, this Labor government increasingly kept reducing our bail laws and weakening our bail laws. We kept on calling that out, and we put many bills to Parliament which were blocked by this Labor government to try and re-strengthen our bail laws. They weren't listening to us, but with the increase in crime rates and people getting bail again and again and again, they finally did start to listen when the community was in an uproar and worked to re-strengthen some of the bail laws that they weakened in the past. But this goes nowhere near the level that they actually need to actually get to ensure that people who commit, say, 300 offences or commit crimes again and again don't just keep getting bail. So what will we do in the coalition? We will have a policy around break bail, face jail. If a youth offender on bail commits a further offence or breaches their bail conditions, they will be swiftly returned to custody. No more slaps on the wrist for breaching bail. The message will be clear that bail is a privilege which must be respected, not a free pass. On machetes as well, we kept on saying that this was a major issue. We brought bills to Parliament, which were again blocked by Labor. We tried to reclassify machetes as prohibited weapons 5 times since late 2023. Labor kept on voting it down, but eventually, with the massive community pressure as well, they too took action in that area, but much more slowly than they should have, and as we've seen with the rollout, not very effectively, and with a very high cost associated with it as well. Now, we need to do more in this space, though, as well. We have said that we will introduce Jack's Law in Victoria, so police and PSOs will have the power to use handheld metal detecting wands in any public place, train stations, shopping centres, music festivals, you name it, without needing special pre-approval for designated areas. We also need, Deputy Speaker, to have proper move-on laws. This Labor government weakened these laws. We would do the opposite. We would restore and enhance police move-on powers, allowing officers to break up groups of youths loitering with intent to cause trouble and ensure prevention before trouble starts. On drunk laws as well, at the moment now we cannot arrest people for their own safety or the safety of those people around them, even if it doesn't lead to court or convictions. That was something that police were able to do in the past, and police are spending so much resources now because of the lack of these powers. We also need to invest, as I mentioned, in alternative consequence pathways, not just jail, but also many things like helping your local CFA or cleaning up graffiti and so much more, because there need to be actual consequences for offences. On prevention, this is a key element as well. We do need the carrot approach as well. And I've mentioned in the past that we in Victoria have had a situation where this opposition keeps on reducing funding for crime prevention programs. I've talked about programs that could be effective here in Victoria. One is the Icelandic prevention model, which in the 90s, in Iceland, they have one of the highest levels of youth crime, substance abuse, antisocial behaviour and so much more. 20 years later, they have one of the lowest levels in the world. And Planet Youth have been working with countries around the world to roll out this model. And this is something that I have proposed here in Victoria that we should consider, because this is a program that is shown to work and we should roll it out. We will also do things as well. We will do other things like the Restart program. We'll have a Victorian first residential responsibility and discipline program for serious repeat youth offenders aged 12 to 17. And we'll also invest in our Youth Start program to coordinate these efforts statewide. We will envision establishing youth justice hubs in high needs areas. Ultimately, we need a vision that ensures both consequences, the stick, and a carrot with positive things in Victoria so we can stop this youth crime crisis.